What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
Welcome back, everybody. This is NECC, and we've got ourselves a great game, Overwatch, in Week 5, and we've got the... Yes, Week 5. So you're holding your hand up, really confusing me. Week 5, and this is a big one. This first matchup of the day is going to be NECC's version of Battle for Bama, UAH versus UNA. This is going to be a massive matchup. These are the biggest rivalries in the top South. I guess South, yeah, because of Alabama, the top northern part of Alabama. It's your most prominent universities up there, and it's going to be a very, very strong matchup. I am Infernosis, joined here by my good friend Chase DeWitt. Nuclear. How you doing today?
I can tell you, I think Chase DeWitt is doing fine and swell, but Nuclear is doing even better today, and I am pleased to be casting the Emergence Division Battle for Bama today. There's going to be some hammers swinging around. There's going to be some probably some Zarya bubbles we'll see on either side, and I am thrilled to be here. We got some RKOs coming out. Randy Orton slithering in. Watch out, watch out. So I am ready for the matches today. I'm hyped to be casting with the one and only, the most electrifying man in the NECC himself, Infernosis. So, man, I tell you, I'm thrilled to be here. What's your predictions for today? Looking at the scorecard, looking at the card, what we got today. What's your thoughts?
There's literally no way to tell. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Both of them are, top seeded. I think they're both the top teams technically in their division. The only people they've lost to, both of them has lost to Montana in a 2-1 loss. Both have lost that way. When you take a look at their wins, they've all won against NTC 3-0. They've both beaten Montana 2-1. Oh, sorry, they lost to Montana 2-1. They both, one of them's beaten Newberry 3-0. Howard has been won 2-1. It's just, there's no way to tell. There's no way we can predict going into this one. And quite frankly, as somebody that lives in Alabama and has been to both cities and lived in both cities, I have no clue where these esports programs have come from. So let alone what they're going to do is going to be a miracle in the making. But I tell you what, I am unbelievably excited for it because the UNA side, for the notes that we were given today, is they are an insanely brawl-heavy team. They are full of Reddit Lucios and everything in between, and they are super excited to come into this one. But the opposite side for UAH, they seem to struggle against those Ryan Brawl comps, and they love to run double bubble. So this could be double trouble for the UNA side if they're facing off against that.
Yeah, looking at it from an objective standpoint, you hit the nail on the head. I can't say it even better. We have two teams top of the emergence division coming from the same region. So I'm sure this is going to be a rivalry for the ages and really a storyline for the rest of NECC for years to come. This is going to be a match that's going to set a precedent and leave an earth-shattering impact on the rest of the Overwatch division for emergence, because you don't want to be seen as the lesser school in Alabama, right? You don't want to be seen as when you're going into matches later in the season, well, at least we don't have to play UAH or UNA, right? You want to be seen as the top dog in Bama. So going into the games today, I think I'm going to have to agree with you. If you look at the teams as well, we see that UAH has a very freshman heavy team, freshmen and sophomores across the whole board. And if you look at UNA's team, they have a little bit more diversity. They have a couple of seniors on their team. They have a couple of upperclassmen that are able to give that kind of edge and experience and mentality and skill. So looking at it from that vein, I don't know. I might have to give the slight edge to UNA, but I think that it's going to be anyone's game.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at what I know just from having and living in these towns and currently attending one of them, a large precedent in place right now for both of them. Somewhat newish terms of esports programs within the universities. Winning out here in NECC and taking the top spot will be a big deal to show to any university president that, hey, we're making waves out there and we know what we're doing. And this game in general is a huge one to come through with it. I know for a fact whichever team's going to win this one out will go straight to the university president and said, we beat our rivals. This is what we're capable of. We may not be able to beat them in our actual sports line because neither of these teams are that good in their sports line, except for hockey for UAH. They got a great hockey team. But neither of them necessarily have the most spectacular football team. They have everything else available to them. They have the esports coming through and have so much they're available to go for it. It's going to be spectacular to come through, and I cannot wait to see who's going to win this one out. We have the actual UNA Gaming president inside. That's going to be Tiger, the Reddit Lucio himself. He's coming out. He's going to rep the squad coming into this one, and hopefully he'll be able to, because he has a direct link to the president. He can throw it straight to his face. I don't know who the president of the UAH's side is, but I know for a fact Emerald is one of the people designated for that, if not already the captain in the first place, because they helped run UAH into Gaming Oasis's tournament, which they took fairly far in, only losing out, I believe, to a Canadian actual like semi-pro team. So I know for a fact both these teams are exceptionally well. It's going to be a phenomenal match to behold. And we're going to start us off in Nepal here in map 1.
Yeah, and I love starting off with more of these control maps, especially with like the Nepal, where you have one point, you play on the point. When you get into the nitty gritty of the payload or the 2CP maps, they're great, but they take so long. These control maps can just go by very quick. And so when you start out a set like that, right, you get a very good taste of what these teams are capable of doing in team fights, very quick to the point. And Nepal, no better place to do it. As we get into the map, I gotta say, I'm interested to see where we're gonna go first.
The question here that I have is, what are the lineups going to be? I know Tiger prefers that Reddit Lucio style, but what does the UAH side going to bring to battle that? Because they know that they're a brawl-heavy side. They've talked and coordinated. I think they've actually scrimmed against each other before. How will they face off against this?
It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. And I think looking at the comps, that's what we're going to have to really take a look at moving forward. So looking at either side, it's looking like we're seeing a Ryan Zarya from both sides. Pretty close tank line. Oh, actually, no. We are going to see Iceman to switch over to the Diva. And Sovereign going to be playing, or Sovereign going to be playing more of the Echo. So it's going to be a little bit of an interesting comp diff here, especially with Thimble playing the Reaper. I don't know how that's going to work out against the more mobile tanks and DPS line.
You do have to worry. We do see the Echo come out, and quite frankly, that is a monster to try and face off against. It's not something that's necessarily fun when you have you struggle with, hit scan. But Ironcrad, one of their star players that they've talked about in their notes, it's going to be a great one to try and battle that one out, but they're going to start the engagement pretty quickly. It looks like UNA is going to take the objective first to play a little bit up on the high ground. Ryan's battling it out with the hammers, and the DPS are going to need to try to get behind the back line. 2 frags will go now. Ironcrad find Emerald, but RKO will take out NATO. And you're now tied, but you've lost the tank now for the UNA side. It's going to be that much more difficult to brawl as Ironcrad will fall to Sovereign, and the revive will come onto Emerald from Alex.
Yeah, and it's looking like Paka's getting a lot of space here on point. It looks like they may be able to take up the point here, but Thimble is going to be able to push in. Squib is going to get the pick on Sovereign, but that is going to be their point.
Yeah, you lose that Reaper. It's going to be the Revive Humility to drop that one back out, and that's going to give you the fight back into it. Reinhardt, that's going to be NATO taking the step forward. Thimble finds Paka. Successful Revive, finds a second. Alex will fall, and they're going to push them all the way back to their own spawn, and it's going to be a fought battle in the very beginning. They've taken objective. They have control, taking a couple steps back to the stairwell, and it's going to need to be a regroup to come out from the UAH side.
Man, UAH really needs to regroup here. They were only able to get 13%, was not able to hold it that long. And that was a really good play from UNA, being able to sit back, say, hey guys, we need to regroup, we need to take point together. They waited for their picks to come back, and they did it effectively. They're able to even now get almost 25 seconds on the clock, and they have both of their tank ultimates. So we'll have to see how good Iceman is at eating Zarya grabs here.
Ooh, a boost does come out. It's going to be onto Paka from the Ana boost, but the fight's engaging. Immortality Field is going to be the slam from Paka. We'll find a couple. Squib will get the only frag for their side, but it's not going to matter. Paka on a rampage finds 3, and Sovereign will take Squib to finish that one off. A complete swipe of the UNA side as UAH will now take the objective, and they have that one in stride.
Yeah, and they're going to get it back. They have 19%. They were able to get it before sub 50 on UNA's side, but UAH really needs to hold here, right? They can't lose this point again. It's going to determine pretty much the pacing of the rest of the match if they do. They are looking pretty strong. They have about 3 ultimates coming up online, whereas UNA only has 1 ultimate currently to their name.
Fight will engage quickly. Emerald rushing in. Pulse bomb to find Tiger. Not playing the Reddit Lucio seems to be a problem, but the slam will come through again. It's going to down most everybody there off of Sovereign's duplicate, and UAH is sweeping the backside. They'll take UNA out from the entire back end and make their way back to the objective. No chance for UNA in that fight. They do have Death Blossom available to them if they want to push that forward, but they're going to need something to combo with it. Probably going to be NATO's Shard, his slam here, but if he can't get that up and online before the fight engages, it's going to be a bit of a problem. Tiger showing healers can do it too, takes Emerald out, 1 DPS out for the count. The question is, will Alex go for the revive on that or not, because it's coming close here.
And that's something that we were told before the game. That's something that the teams expressed to us. You have to look out for Tiger. You have to look out for Squib. These guys are slayers on the side of UNA. And we're seeing it now, and today, looks like Iceman is going to look for a cheeky bomb here. Not going to be able to find anything, though.
Fight engaging, brawling on site. Paka will get a nice fire charge in as Sovereign will beam down Ironcrad. Emerald, who came back from the respawn, finds Thimble, and UAH takes it once again. Tiger, NATO, and Squib will fall to the tanks. And it's going to go entirely again. UAH will take this map 1. UNA no chance to make it back. We're going to have to see if they're able to do this on the second one as well. Maybe it's going to go more to their style if they want to play Brawl. Honestly, with UNA saying they liked that Brawl style, it's shocking to see that UAH is kind of beating them out in it.
Yeah, it kind of is a little bit insane, but you also, it's even more crazy for me to look at it and see that UAH is playing with the Diva, right? And they're losing to the Brawl Comp when UNA is playing the Zarya Ryan, and they're playing it exactly how you should be. We are going to see Tiger switch over to the Brig. So maybe that's going to be able to help out the front line a little bit more, maybe keep that Tracer off the back line a little bit more, and we may see a different UNA this game, or this map.
It's going to be a big contributing factor now. They're going to push forward. We do see a couple switches in terms of DPS. No Echo in play now. Humility opting still for the Ana in play. Tiger switching over to Brigitte off of the Baptiste previously. The fight on the high ground will continue to take place. Squib taking the aggressive stance forward, but it's looking like UAH is going to start taking their stance as well. Immortality Field will keep them up and into the fight, but an anti onto the top will make it that much more difficult. Sovereign will find Tiger, and you're already down one of your mainline healers. That much more difficult to stay into this one. UNA needs to find something on the back foot to get real DPS out, and they're struggling to do so. There's the Reddit Lucio. It's coming out. Tiger's bringing it to the game. We'll have to see if that's enough to guarantee this one.
And maybe that's their issue. Maybe the issue for UNA is they need to just get in the backline. They just need to get in. That's the issue. So if switching over to the Lucio, maybe the Lucio is going to be able to help with that, as we're going to see a little bit of a kerfuffle on the left side of point. Lucio looking to push in. The backfield is going to come up. Earthshatter coming down, landing on the whole team. Big swing it.
NATO go off as Ironcrad and Tiger will find another two. Emerald may have taken out Urana and Rind in tow, but now the last two players standing is going to be the opposing Reinhardt and the Diva, who's demeched. And it's going to be a hard battle. Paka finds two by swinging on sights, and it's up to Ironcrad to find it. He's going to fall, however, after finding Paka. Iced Manta is going to be forced over, finding that kill, but they're going to be able to take this one most likely. UNA still battling it out, giving time for UH to come in. No healers on NATO, they'll fall, and no, UAH will secure it once again off the back of Emerald for a 3K in that ending bout.
What a crazy play from Emerald at the end there. That really secured the point for the whole team. And that was a massive pacing issue from UNA. They needed to take the point there because now UAH has 60% on the clock. They have to get in, they have to be aggressive, and they have to get the picks. I think that's an issue with shot calling too. I don't think that they're really calling out targets together. Kind of a bit of a flubbed bob there. They're not going to find anything off of it, and the fight is going to ensue on point.
Graviton comes out from Squib, and a massive firefight engages. UNA finding three. An ult will come out from the Diva Bomb. Emerald will get one with a high noon from behind, catching them off guard. A great combination of ultimates, but UNA will still take that one, completely wrecking UAH's side, but not before UAH was able to get 84% on the board. The question that remains, though, UNA has struggled to win any of these team fights. Can they maintain this now? They do have the ults in pockets, but the combinations coming through, you're going to have Baptiste with that window coming through, and you also have a Death Blossom and Shatter to follow through in just a couple seconds.
You may be right, but looking at it this way, they have all their ults. UNA saved all their ults for this fight, and so that could determine the pacing of this. If they're able to take the point and defend the point without using any ults here, that's going to be massive, but we are going to see the Earth Shatter from NATO come out. Fight's going to ensue on point once again.
It was shatter for shatter, and it goes either way in that situation. NATO still holding on to the objective, but you're going to lose the UNA McCree on Thimble to the Diva for UAH. Ironcrad finding a healer as Squib will take out the DPS in tow. Players falling for the UAH side as Ice Manta will be the last to fall. Your Death Blossom Reaper, who still has it in pocket, is going to escape with his life just narrowly, but UNA is going to start to get greedy. They're pushing up to the front line. They'll find Halix out with Squib taking the aggressive stance. He has a high charge on the Zarya. It's a good chance to keep that charge up. The question is, can you get backsided here? UAH has done a good job of charging in, but you'll still only have that one ult. If you can get that Death Blossom in the front and possibly charge that high noon, you can do another flank like we just saw previously and the last two fights ago, I should say.
Yeah, and as they look to push into point, it's looking like it's pretty much evened up. 84% to 70%. Paka is going to get antied on point, and that's going to be huge. He's going to have to back off for the team. Ice Manta is going to find the pick on Thimble. Nato's going to be able to take out Bash. Oh my gosh, there's so much happening on point right now. The Zarya grab's going to come out. They're big swinging on point. Reaper, Death Blossom coming out. Isn't going to find anyone.
Oh my goodness, NATO finds a Shatter, connects to three. We'll have the wall up for that, but Sovereign's gonna go straight into it, completely ruining the life there as Halix will get the kill. The fight ensues. UAH has taken it at some point, despite UNA getting to 98%. Immortality Field for Halix will be denied and Halix will fall. UNA will take the point. The question is, can UAH deny for just enough time to stop it? It's taken. 99, 100, not just there, and it's gonna be the fact that Emerald was able to dive on his Tracer. UAH coming in just trickling into the objective. A Doomfist trying to step up. He'll touch in time. Fight ensuing with Thimble. He's going to find it with a high noon. It's going to be a Hammond rolling around the point to continue to contest as their Reddit Lucio will follow suit as well. Fight continues with a boosted NATO. He's going to try to find more success, but it's going to be Squib who finds it instead. Charge coming on, nothing mattering. UNA take this one, and they're finally going to get it here, and it's a 1-for-1 here. Back and forth action constantly. It's anyone's game.
Wow. I have to be honest, I did not see UNA taking that point because they got off on the wrong foot at the beginning of that map. And I think what really saved them, their saving grace of that map, was holding their ultimates, waiting, playing around each other together on point. But even looking at the very end, that was incredibly close, nail biter. And UAH was able to come back. They just were unfortunately unable to secure the point in the end. So we will be moving on to the third map in Nepal.
This one's a fun one indeed. Lots of environmental kills that can happen here. We are going to see UNA make the swap. Squib's going to switch over to the Wrecking Ball. The Hammond Hamster himself to try and get some environmental. You have both Lucios in play as well. And Tiger sure loves that Reddit Lucio style, so we're probably going to see lots of montage-like tricks to make it around and boop these players off of the battlefield. That is the objective, but you look at UAH, they're going to head through the backfield up through the top layer, trying to catch UNA off guard from behind, but UNA is not going to have any of it. A sleep will connect onto Paka, but the fight does not matter. He's going to get out quite swiftly after. NATO shield not looking so hot here, but it's going to be a continued slam from behind. Squib's going to knock them up in the process. Sovereign finding out humility, and a second onto NATO, and the fight looks like it's going in UAH's favor as Tiger, not just Tiger, but Ironclad will fall, and Thimble's the only person, just a small boon to the otherwise and terrible attack that you just got torn through.
Wow, and we just saw Squib ult on point. I don't know if that was the smartest ult. He probably should have waited a little bit. He is going to get picked there, and we are, you know, we were talking about it earlier. We thought we would see Tiger and Squib really take the reins here in this fight, but they were unable to secure that first point as this BAP ult comes out. UAH is looking to defend and hold this as long as they possibly can.
It's going to be that window that comes through from the Baptiste on Helix for the UAH side, but the fight's going to go quickly to the objective. The Shatter will not connect from Paka. Great shielding there from NATO. Ironclad finding out Emerald, but Squib will take a drink. He'll fall to his own environmental kill, but it'll be Ice Manta. They'll Diva bomb the side, and he's not there to cover. Humility, the tank out, getting out of the situation, but it won't matter. They'll trade tanks here. Paka will fall as it's going to be another one to go in. Sovereign fighting onto Ironclad as NATO will take out the healer of Lucio of RKO. Dragon Strike coming through. He'll find two, and Emerald finds two as well. High noon coming out of nowhere, and UAH out of the backside of nothing find another successful team fight.
It is time to stop, said UAH. They are done with it. What a high noon coming out from Emerald, and Sovereign got to with the Dragon Strike as well. The DPS of UAH are really stepping up to the plate at this point, and they're really shutting down any attempt of a push or aggression or even irritation on the side of UNA.
Notice how UAH has used that garage wall, that window there from the Baptiste to completely slow down UNA. They're just letting the actual point climb. Squib's gonna head to the backside, be the slam down, connecting into 4, and he'll place his ult down as well. Minefield in, and it's gonna find one, but Bob from Ironclad will take out Paka. It's looking bad for UAH. They only have 3 players standing. They'll have to use Drop the Beat to stay into this one, but it's still not looking good. Alex will fall as Ice Manta takes the drink off of NATO, and the last player standing in that initial fight, which was RKO, forced to drop the beat, will step back and let UNA have this one. Fight finally goes in favor of UNA, and they have a chance to carry this one back to the end.
Yeah, fight goes in the favor of UNA, and honestly, it was pretty considerable in how the fight went their way. Honestly, I think UAH used way too many resources there. The Lucio ult was unnecessary. They had already had 3 down. At that point, you just use your Lucio to get the team out, you regroup, you retake point as fast as you can. But sitting at 91%, they do have that room for error.
Oh my goodness, Emerald connecting with 2 on the high noon, but Paka will fire charge Humility out. He'll fall to Thimble, but it's not going to matter. NATO and Thimble fall to the Diva of Iced Manta, and that point goes to UAH. Almost no chance of them making it back. Will the Reddit Lucio be able to tap? The stun will be attempted from Emerald, but it won't matter. Ironclad will find it. Tiger trying his best. He can't make it. This one goes to UAH. Map 1, straight to them.
Wow, and the battle for Bama is kicking off with a boom. UAH showing to be the dominant team today in their team fight and how they play with each other. Paka, man, this guy has the confidence of an elephant, pushing through the team, full confidence in his team behind him. Nothing more to say. The clip says it all.
I mean, you think about that charge and everything that came through the Immortality field being destroyed as quickly as it started. This amazing support you had from your teammates. Emerald at the time who was playing that Tracer really giving that extra bit of support to know that that came up, know it's coming up and destroyed as soon as it did. So a phenomenal game there. We have map 1 going in favor of UAH. UNA is going to switch a sub in for the next map here. And if I remember correctly, as I'll pull it up to guarantee here, the next map we're going to go ahead and head over to is going to be Numbani. So an interesting one all around. And we'll have a question here for our producer. We'll tune in here real fast. Do we have a 5-minute break between these maps? All right, if the players want a 5-minute break, we'll give it to them. We'll see what they are interested in. If not, we can continue to rant about such a phenomenal game. Now, the last map there for Nepal, UNA tended to struggle a little bit on there, and I think that a little bit of it was the wasted ults in the hands of that Hammond at the initial stages. He did charge it again for that high ground fight that really gave UNA the chance to take the objective. But the first one that was wasted is going to be a little bit yikes, and it's not what you're going to want, so save your ultimates. We did see one wasted ult in terms of the UAH side, which was that drop the beat like you spoke about, but beyond that, amazing ult usages on both sides. We saw shatters for shatters, everything going in every single direction. The question that matters here, is it going to be enough here on the next map? And it's going to be an entirely different game. Will the Reddit Lucio still show their presence, or will be all for naught and UAH take it for 2 maps back to back?
If they take it back to back, I think that's obviously going to be the set, but I think that that's going to really hurt the mental going into map 3. I think that UNA, looking at this next map, are going to have to switch up their comp a little bit. They're going to have to really dive in together and say what's not working, right? UAH's DPS are just popping off today. And so that tells me that the tank line needs to play a little bit closer with the actual healers on the team, because they are getting picked very frequently. And I think that's going to really determine kind of what we see going into Numbani.
It's going to be a big contributing factor. I do worry as somebody watching and being able to take the game in stride here and be able to watch and hold both sides. It looks like Humility, the player we had seen previously on the UNA side, who's not in this time, favored Mercy as their main healer, was playing Ana the entire time, did a fairly good job about it and boosting the right people, but we did see Tiger make the switch over to his preferred main. We had seen these switches come through, so do you think maybe they're just not as comfortable with this comp and they're having to go back and forth with it and not play to their specialties?
Maybe, and that's hard, right? It's really hard to be playing and your main not working, right? With the comp that you're playing. And that's where you start to second guess yourself. That's where the mental can really kick in. So going into this next map, UNA is going to have to really dive deep and determine what their comp is going to be. It looks like they are going to be on the blue side this time, and we are going to see UAH on the red side, just for clarification for the viewers at home.
Yes, of course, I'm not going to struggle to do that, but usually I do struggle to figure out when the colors do change and their side switch, but thankfully enough, I know the players' names enough this time around, but good looking out for everybody there. I am worried about this overall. I do want to see a Widowmaker today. I think that would be really nice to see. Of course, I say that every week in every single game because I'm a Widow one-trick and that's all I know how to do, but have not seen one yet. We've seen Ashes come out, however, and we've also now seen another Echo. This one again on the UAH side with the combination of that Mercy. So not a Farm Mercy, an Echo Mercy coming through. And we're going to have to see if that duplicate's going to have as much of effect as it did last time, because we had seen him transform into the Reinhardt and connect a Shatter that was quite successful.
In this current meta, I really feel as though the Echo Mercy plays better than the Pharmacy, for the reason that the Echo has the adaptation to really switch to whatever character she needs to make those team fights sway in whatever favor. So looking at it in that vein, when you have a Kree on the other team, when you have a BAP on the other team, the sky's the limit on really the comp that you can play around that.
It's going to be a very hard contributing factor. The engagements will have to continue. Sovereign heading up the main side, but it looks like it's going to be UAH coming in from the normal push, taking the high ground. Those Diva rockets will make it difficult, especially when you're not rocking, say, a Zarya for the bubble support, but UNA will be forced down. Ironclad will fall off of the Reinhardt Fire Strike, and that's already a one-man advantage for the UAH side. It's going to be Paka who finds that in tow. And they are no longer controlling this. They've taken over and switched to the objective itself. A charge coming through, saved by Tiger's Immortality Field. But the brawl continuing on the side. Thimble finds Emerald as Paka takes Shlomo. And this fight's going all the way near to the second pip already. But UNA's trying to stay in. Paka finding 3 under the feed. And he's taken this one. Last man coming through. Tiger falls. And it's just Squib trying to hold on. He'll swing his life away on the payload. Drops the minefield. But they'll get the second pip. And it looks like they'll take the third.
I stan Paka. I stan Paka. That man was swinging on point. Dude, he went down in, he was able to get a pin to really set that precedent for the team fight for his team. And look at him. One fight in, the man has Earth Shatter. He's ready. He's here. Swing it on him.
What are you stan Paka?
I stand.
Is that really the words that I just heard come out of your mouth? Was I stand? All right, we'll go with it. Paka, fire charges have been successful so far, and we do have the chance for a staggering shatter that could come through. Shlomo's trying to charge us up by getting some fire strikes off, but the Ana boost will go into Paka. He's low, however, will need some healing. He tries to go for it. He's stepping up, shatters, fights 4, and it goes in. Paka goes off. A Squib is the only one to find a kill. Everything going up once again for UAH.
Randy Orton slithering in, RKO, throwing the ult on Paka. Paka was able to get the Earth Shatter on everyone, and once again, setting the precedent for the team. What an insane battle!
Oh my goodness, UNA needs to find an answer for this, because Paka is going to not just get MVP for this one, but he's also going to get the victory if they can't find a solution to this problem. They are hemorrhaging kills at this direction. Ult charge is going entirely in favor of their side. UNA has so many ults they can use, they just aren't using them, and the Diva Bomb finds 2! The backline in shambles, and UNA is going to have to think about what to do here. They'll need to regroup, but time is running short as the payload crawls ever closer to the last point.
You could not convince me that Manta is iced, because I'm telling you, that was a hot Diva Bomb over the top of the Rhine Shield. Was able to pick 2, and really, look at how much space they're getting just from off the first point. They're already back on the 3rd point. This train has not stopped, and it has UAH's name written all over it.
It's absolutely going in their favor. UNA used the Fire Strike and Ana boost to not any success, and UAH is just continuing this strain going forward. Not a chance. Squib will finally switch over, uses the bomb. It's not going to do much, but the Pulse Bomb will from Emerald. It finds out the opposing Thimble. The High Noon available cannot be used. Time is being bought as finally Shlomo, the Rhine, will get back into the objective, but that Reinhardt that's got that pocket Mercy is going to probably win the fight. Paka in a bad situation. Thimble connects onto the Mercy, saving that Rhine on Rhine battle, but the sleep on the Shlomo will allow Paka to escape with his life.
Not only was Thimble able to save the Rhine on Rhine battle, Thimble killed the Echo with the flash in the middle of that. What a crazy interaction. Like, what?
This is the one thing that UNA needed to stay into it, and they finally did manage to get it. But Paka and Ice Manta ults ready and available. Pulse Bomb not too far behind, and all you really got is Bob for the UNA side. The Shatter's close. Diva Bomb will go off. It will kill 2 again. Manta out of nowhere finding another, throwing it over the top line, over the rafters, and it's going to go in a sweep now as Squib, last man standing, will get taken out. A team kill and a round 1 complete as UAH have 3 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock to complete that one out.
Wow, what a push from UAH. UAH was not letting off the gas, full throttle the whole time. And I really feel like there were some plays from UNA's side where they really could have came back in those fights. Unfortunately, their positioning was really off. Even with that final Diva Bomb, we saw at the very end of that push, the Diva Bomb caught 2 that were not behind the Rhine shield. All you got to do is just push up on your Rhine, stay behind the shield, and you're saved. Voila. chef's kiss, easy. But if you stay back too far, right, that bomb's gonna hurt, and that's what they saw, and they, they got the push off of that. But that's not to say UNA is not in the game, because they could get this push here and get just as much time on the clock. That's the beauty of Overwatch. It's not over till the fat lady sings.
Attackers incoming.
Absolutely taking it all the way through in stride. UNA is going to try to find an answer, but Emerald has stolen my heart. We're seeing the Widowmaker. So Dallas, my good friend Mick, who said we're not going to see it, you can shut up because we're seeing it right here by Emerald. They're taking it in UAH. They already have it 3-0 right now. UNA has to make it all the way across. Is the Genji combination going to be enough? They have a weird mixture of dive and a high DPS output for that range. Tiger, the Reddit Lucio, and that Hammond are going to try to force their way in. Can the Genji dive that backline in combination? Emerald taking pot shots from the high ground, and they're not necessarily holding the main high ground. They're holding the opposite side, where you typically see a Torbjorn mantled up. But UNA taking the backside in stride. They're going to take their way to the objective. The firefight will ensue on the payload.
I like seeing the dive comp here. I really think it plays well around this point. You can get up and down on those angles really well, as we're seeing the Genji push in. Ironcrad looking to get something here, but your man Emerald able to shut him down pretty quick, as well as Ice Manta gonna be able to shut down Thimble. What a play, what a defense.
Oh my goodness, we see once again the devastating shred that UAH is dishing out against the opposition. UNA needs to still find the answer. Hopefully the ults will be enough to do it, but you lose that fight and you lose Ironcrad of a snipe in the backside. The double sniper combination will completely dismantle any chance. Genji's just too fleshy for this type of hold. You don't have that Mercy to help support you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Maybe a switch needs to be made. You might not even be able to switch even after. They're taking the backside here on the top ground. Still the sniper situated. Nothing coming too swiftly. UNA making the push here. Hammond jumping up the top line.
And then he's going to be able to jump down. It looks like they're really playing around this comp right here on the side of UNA. Squib is trying to get a pick up top, not really able to find anything. But Ironcrad is going to eventually find the kill on Emerald. The res is gonna come out on Emerald to try to take the point. The double sniper here seemed to be working well against the dive comp. The dive comp not really able to stand as much. As I say that, the Genji's coming back on Emerald. They are gonna be able to take Emerald out, and it looks like Shlomo and the rest of his team's gonna take point.
Absolutely great take by UNA. They lost a couple of the first engagements. They're going to have a little bit less time to make it all the way through. There's no way they'll do it in the same time as UAH, but as long as they make it, they'll have a chance to stay in this one. So the question is going to remain, can they keep this presence going forward? Widowmaker, the walls are going to be activated. The chance for a snipe is high, especially when you're rocking the double sniper, and you've got basically every single ult on your side available for both sides. The drop the beat not available yet for Tiger, but easily charged when you pull and channel that Reddit Lucio combo. The question is, who's going to get the successful shatter that's going to change the pacing of this fight?
Oh man, it's looking like maybe Paka. They did get the sleep off on him, but they woke him up, and Paka's gonna be able to pick out Tiger in the backline. The Diva Bomb's coming out, landing right on top of Shlomo. Shlomo was able to take it out though, and we find Paka mid-half health. Oh my gosh, so much is coming out. Ice Manta gonna be able to take out Shlomo. Sovereign's gonna be able to take out Thimble. Ironcrad's pushing in the back line, and Emerald is still gonna be able to take out Ironcrad. This is a brawl fest from either side, and really, we only saw UAH use ults there. UNA still has a majority of their ultimates on deck.
Great discipline that we weren't seeing in the map previously for using ults in normal time. So a good job not to waste those in stride. Ironcrad diving the back line of that Emerald. They will fall. And the question is the shatter, which finds its success. That's a big one right there for Shlomo. Paka not looking so hot as Ironcrad will find it with a blade. He steps forward, the nano blade. He's trying to find another, but they're taking the backside. They're scared of that push, and it's going to be Squid that takes the step up. Slept now. He was stunned and slept. He'll get away with his life. Hammond just too tanky to deal with, and the help will come through. UNA just a couple meters away from finishing off the second point. It doesn't look like UAH is going to try to contest it. They'll fight for the third one.
And it looks like while UNA is struggling a little bit more on time, they are pressing up through this map, and they are winning the team fights in stride. So Playing behind Shlomo is going to be everything here. Getting Squib out when he needs out, and Ironcrad and Squib diving the same targets is going to be everything pushing on this last point, because you need a full wipe here as we see Thimble come out. The mines come out from Squib. They're really looking to push everything that they can here on this final point.
Pocket will find Ironcrad, but it's not going to matter. Renet Lucio himself, Tiger, will find it. And that's exactly what you need to see. UNA has struggled with their ult consumption problems the entire time and not getting real usage out of it, but it's the complete opposite now. Everything is coming up UNA for those ultimates, but Shlomo overextends, falls, and it's going to go in the favor of UAH. 3 now will fall for the opposition. Emerald finding 2 of those. The fire strike from Paka will find it instead, and UNA is going to need to take the step back and regroup. Ironcrad nearing the blade, and it's going to be the Nano that's ready as well. If they can drop the beat, Nano blade in, they're going to have a good chance of winning this next engagement. Not as good time as UAH's side, but pretty close indeed.
Man, yeah, UNA really needed that push to really, truly tie up the game, right? They still have a chance to tie it up on the board, you know, having it 3-3. Ironcrad is going to get the pick on Emerald, and that may look where they're looking to push here. As they're looking to come in, Squib is going to go in the backline, straight for the backline on the Ana, and he's going to get slapped, and the D.Va's going to dive on him. It looks like the rest of the team's going to look to collapse. He is going to get antied, and he's going to fall. That could slow the push down for Shlomo.
Blade coming through, Nano, Sovereign will fall, Ironcrad finds another, 2 big ones, and the D.Va bomb won't matter, Manta will fall, and it's gonna be Paka who goes instead. You everything, and the last push to the Mercy, get out of here as Ironcrad takes the sweep, and UNA takes it all the way. Oh my goodness, UNA finds their stride and finds the ending.
Ironcrad said, all right guys, calm down, I have Blade, Nano me, we're going in. And he went straight in. I loved the discipline in waiting out the D.Va ult, because he waited for the bomb. The bomb was around the corner. He couldn't really get anything more from that engagement except for wait. He waited for the bomb to go down, and then he took 2 more. The reflect on the Ana grenade back onto him, shut it down. It was done. Said deal, signed, sealed, delivered, put it in the mail. It's gone, right? What a great play from UNA, and they needed that. 2 minutes on the clock now. They've tied out this game a little bit more. If they weren't able to get that last engagement and they weren't able to take the point there, it could be an entirely different map.
You take a look right now, UNA has 2 minutes to get as far as they can, but the question still remains, who had a more dominant push? Nuclear, what is your opinion here? Taking this one up, what's your prediction? The UAH push that was completely unstoppable, or the UNA ultimate combinations that were devastating to behold? Which one do you think will take it?
I really think it's going to be UAH's pushes. It's the consistency in those pushes. Yes, UNA are popping off, and they're able to get really good solo ultimates onto UAH, but it's the team play that's going to matter in the end. So I think looking at the push here, while it is going to be close, if UAH is able to hunker down, hold this down, keep your RKO alive, then I think this is going to go in their side. UNA is going to have a hard time.
UNA did struggle to get to the payload initially in their first engagements. UAH, however, did not, but Squib diving to the backline will completely dismantle the top DPS push, and Immortality Field will go out, and it will be destroyed. Slow-mo finding Paka, and they'll take that one in stride. They're going to continue to go forward and try to find it. It's going to continue that way. Thimble taking out Manta. Shlomo again onto Sovereign, and that's looking like UAH is going to get dismantled in stride. RKO and Alex fall to, again, UNA, and the last player of that Tracer, which is Emerald, will fall instead, and UNA is going to take this one. It looks like, it does not seem like Paka is going to be able to make it to deny. It's just going to be that push coming from Squib to keep him at bay. UNA will actually get the payload and be able to escort here. Who saw this one coming?
I definitely did not. You know, I feel like someone just went behind UNA's heads, just started clapping. Hey, let's wake up. Time to go, because they're here. They're here to play now. And I really feel sorry for Anas on both teams, both Panorama and RKO, because they're getting dove at every moment. These teams, like you said it best, looking to dismantle the other team at the best opportunity. And as we see that, UAH is pushing up on this corner, not allowing UNA to get any ground that they can. But we are going to see Shlomo push up, get the Earth Shatter. If they drop the shield, it could be over. It's going to come out. The backfield is not going to be able to do anything because he's in your backline.
goodness, UNA! You do not get to take everything from UAH, ripping the rug out from underneath the minefield to completely make the tanks fear everything about them, not able to escape, pushing the aggressive stance forward. The Reinhardt shatter and everything dismantled immediately. They may have no time, but they're pushing it all the way. Will they make it to the second point? UAH has to decide where they want to take the stance to fight this off. UNA has to win every single team fight from here onward if they want to stand a chance. Diva Bomb all the way from behind. It won't connect. It pushes him off for a second, but the damn blade will come out. It tries to find one. RKO out of nowhere. He will fall back, relegated to a respawn. Squib finding Sovereign. Ironclad onto Paka, and the fight's going in favor of UNA. They'll continue it. Ironclad fighting Alex, and everything goes. Manta, he falls as well. Ironclad will not be stopped, and he'll continue the reign. Last player standing of Emerald will fall, and UNA make it to the second pimp. They'll have to keep it going.
His name may be Shlomo, but this man is moving with the ferocity and speed of a jaguar. He is in their faces, not caring of anything around him because he has his team on his back. Overtime is ensuing, and UNA needs to find everything that they can here. Squib is going to get stunned. They are going to be able to get a bomb out in the back line. Squib's going to find two. Oh no, Thimble's going to get stuck as he has High Noon. That could mean everything for the rest of this push.
Emerald killing themselves, however, in the pulse, but their respawn is quicker and they're faster. UNA 4 people on, just trying to get as far as possible. Manta trying to make it in. They're keeping him at bay. UNA just 1.19 meters away with a charge. It actually finds Banana, but they can't finish it off. They'll sleep it. He's stuck in the back. Reinhardt's not going to be there for the fight. It's Manta trying to stay in. Finally, we'll see him come from behind with the shatter. UAH looks like they're going to fight it back into this one, and it's going to be down to the wire. Banana still fighting on, not mattering. Blade coming out. Ironclad fighting two. He takes Emerald and Alex. Bomb will go off. Tiger has no time to step back, and UAH will find it before not letting them get to the third point.
Infernosis, we are losing our minds on this cast. What is happening? That Diva Bomb was the only thing that saved the point there. It was the solo thing that saved the point because the Genji ult was coming out. He was clearing everyone, including the team, off of that point, and that was the only thing that kept UNA alive in that moment. Wow, what a push, and what a save from UAH.
UNA showing that same level of dominant push that we saw UAH do on their first one. Where was that initially, UNA? Where was that on your first push? You made it all the way through with only 2 minutes inside of your bank, and now you're going to have to actually show you can defend as well. The question remains, Tiger has not picked their hero just yet. They will instead now go with the Baptiste, a Bastion. This is going to be a high ground specialist play. I said you'll see Bastions and Torbjorn take that level of high ground, but when you back it up with Thimble on the Sombra, remove Paka's shield if you can get the hack on, and you will devastate the opposition. They just need to buy 3 minutes. That's just one team fight. If they get him to overtime, even on the payload push, just one team fight will win it all, and they're going to try their best to get this one going forward.
Man, UNA is playing this so adaptively and so intelligently. They knew that they had to switch up the comp to something that UAH is not expecting because they've been playing the same heroes for the most part in their pool. These are heroes that we have yet to see at all in this series. And so I feel like UAH could be caught extremely off guard by this.
Not expecting it. This is a completely different thing. Paka's shield actually does get hacked here. Thimble doing a good job of that. But, you know, Paka's now going to be aware. They're just going to keep swinging when applicable. The dive into the backline. Ironclad trying his best. He will fall, however, to the Echo. Sticky bombs. And it's not going to matter. Shlomo taking out RKO. Tiger falling to the beam of Sovereign. And the objective looks like it's probably going to be taken. Shlomo trying his best to brawl. He's in, trying it. He's going to go one-on-one with Paka. But the backline DPS of UAH is going to continue to shred everyone else for UNA. They'll buy their time and keep them in the points, but it's not looking like UNA is going to be able to deny this first point, and we're going to see the streets phase here have to come to fruition.
It's going to have to. I mean, we saw Shlomo on point swinging as much as he could, trying to keep him off, but it wasn't able to keep UAH at bay, and UAH is now going to group up on point and begin their push. They were not able to take his point as fast as UNA, and they have a long journey ahead of them, so they need to be very smart about how they conserve ultimates, look at their economy for both abilities and ultimates, and push with the entire team.
The fight, like I said, it's going to come down to one team fight. If UNA can just buy time consistently throughout, UAH is going to have that overtime situation and struggle. No one on payload right now, however, will make it a little bit more time wasted, but Emerald will find the pulse bomb into Bananarama. Ironclad will fall to Sovereign. We don't see the Genji in play, and it's going to be on the McCree instead. They're going to push them all the way back to their own spawn in the back line. High Noon comes out. It's not going to be able to find anything in a bad position, though, and it was going to be that the Echo of Sovereign went for nothing to be had. The Valkyrie's currently in use by Halix, and the aggressive stance by UAH will have to continue. UNA, they've let them come all the way here. They still have a minute left in the bank, and you've not got much time. Shatter connects from over the top, but he'll fall. Nothing to support with the heals, and Ice Manta will save the life of their team and hike Ironclad instead.
You have to be on the same page. You can't just shatter and no one follow up. Everyone has to be there. And what we're seeing now is UNA not able to keep up the defense, but they have 4 ultimates at their disposal, where UAH used a lot of ultimates to get there. So UAH pushing up on the corner now in this final push. I think what you said is completely correct, Infernosis. It's going to come down to one massive fight at the end here on this corner.
In the massive fight, looks like it might just go to UNA. Emerald will find a pulse bomb, and the Diva Bomb will be a nuisance, but it won't matter. Thimble trades out, finds Emerald instead. Paka, though, finding 2, not looking good. The Sombra, the big EMP was what I was talking about to give yourself the advantage, but Thimble has fallen. 10 seconds on the clock, and they just need to contest. If the EMP can get in, and all of these ults, it will make a difference. Alex reviving Paka out. Sovereign beaming down Bananarama. The Nano did come out for the boost, but it's not going to matter. Fights will have to continue. EMP is ready, but they're not using it. Diva Bomb now dropping from Squib. It'll find one, and there's the EMP, but it's been forced around. Squib, he takes on Halix with that bomb. Fight has to continue on the payload itself. Sovereign duplicating into the Diva. They'll backline Diva Bomb as well. It's going to connect to Ironclad, who just left spawn, and it's not going to go their way. UAH finding every last kill. Will they get the end? The Winston slow-mo just buying time. Is it going to be enough, though? He's slowing it down. He's going to touch again. 3 meters left, and they have time on respawns. Nothing they can do. UAH successfully, miraculously take it, and they'll be 2-0. And it looks like UNA's dominant reign of wins will be denied by UAH.
UAH coming in clutch in probably the closest series I've ever seen in Emergence Division, period. Ironclad, this ult was amazing on attack. This is the one that we were talking about that secured point, right? He got the Kree, he waited it out, he was able to come back around the corner and then wipe the rest of the team. Look at this reflect too. Oh, it didn't come out, but he was able to reflect the on and aid back onto them. Wow, UAH pushing it into overtime and able to take it. Very, very slim chance that they were going to do it, and they did it. What a game.
You have to worry about that as UNA. Think about that side. UNA could have won that. 100%. They could have had that situation in their favor, but the issue became quite quickly UAH was just winning their gunfights. Everything was going in their favor. Every ability usage was finding a target and taking them out. They were wary of Thimble on the EMP for the Sombra, and they did not let the EMP come out. They refused to acknowledge it, and they just kept taking them out. Every single opportunity denied, and nothing UNA can do when their spawns are staggered that much. And we're going to have to see a map 3. It's a little too late for UNA coming into this one. They've already lost it, and it would have been cool to see, the third map be the decider, but UAH spectacularly finding it out, taking it in a 2-0 victory. Can they make it the 3-0 against what was tied for the top team, but now the second best team?
I think that UNA still has something on the board here. It all breaks down to mental, right? And we said that UAH had a better team fight team. They were just playing around each other better. I think what's key there, and what kind of is underneath the surface, just we're looking at the tip of the iceberg. Underneath that is the positioning of UAH. UAH that entire time had that core positioning, and the supports were able to get back and forth when they needed to. RKO coming out strong and keeping that tank line alive, while also having Emerald snipe at every chance available and moving around. Just the diversity and being able to quickly transfer and move with your team and adapt as fast as you can is what's going to be that small determining factor that is going to determine these sets. UNA, nothing to scoff at either by any chance. They are playing amazing as a team together. They just have a few things to tweak going into this last game, and mental is one thing that they cannot afford to lose.
You've already taken the L, unfortunately, but you don't want to take the big 3-0. You don't want to have that situation. I'm sure every single person watching here absolutely adores what's been happening here. There is nothing going negative for either side. It's been back and forth constantly. A great match to behold. Nothing can be said negative about either side, but you got to keep fighting to the very last minute. That's the good thing about Overwatch. It is a best of 3, but you can take it for that map lead and still have one to show that you're not out for the fight and they're not that much better than you. You don't want to look at the scoreboard at the end and say, we got 3-0'd, because it doesn't look like that when you're watching the game. It does not look like a 3-0 by any means. It's back and forth constantly, and there's nothing deciding that. You need to take your mentality to the next level. Still show the confidence that you have going into this one, and quite frankly, I'm looking forward to this one as well.
Likewise, we're going to be on Dorado this time around. It's going to be a little bit of a different change of pace, and we may see a little bit of a swap come out. It may be that we see Shlomo get swapped out for NATO. And while they haven't played together as a team that we've seen so far in this set, it's difficult to see how he's going to do, because, in my opinion, both Shlomo and Paka were playing the Rhines right. There was no doubt about that, right? Shlomo was able to take points by himself, swinging in their face. The only thing that is really going to determine and separate those tiers are the Earth Shatter kills and what they're getting on the capitalization of the Earth Shatters. While Paka was a lot stronger in the first map that we saw on Nepal, I really feel like on the last map we saw Shlomo get into gear, and that's funny to say because his name is Shlomo, but he was really kicking it into gear, kicking it up. So looking at this now, bringing in a new tank, maybe bringing in NATO, it may be a entirely different comp that they're looking to play.
Yeah, you do have to worry about that one, and Dorado is a heavy map. One thing I've been noticing in Dorado recently, and I think you actually casted with me for one of those before, Bastions. Pretty heavy focus up on the top lane for this first kind of payload push. Could be a big contributing factor for that high ground, but not as much in the second or third stages. Long-range snipers could be a big play. Ashes have a very high focus coming in. Echoes have a dominant force always on most maps, especially when they have buildings or long pillars they can hide behind in the air. The really question I have here is, which side's going to show those shatters that we talked about? Because both sides have favored that Reinhardt choice. Which shatter will be that impact? We know Paka has had phenomenal showing all the way through this, just dominating with every shatter and every play going in, but not to be outdone. UNA has found tank on tank, sub for sub. Every single one of them is attempted and kind of tried to match, but just can't match up entirely. It's like a 90 to 100% difference. It's close, but no cigar for UNA.
Seeing NATO being swapped in too, potentially, I know that he favors a Sigma as well. So maybe they're looking to switch up comp and play the Sigma. So, it could be a massive difference in the flux that we may see from the Sigma as to the Earth Shatter kills that we may see coming out. But, then the question of that is, how is UAH going to counter? Well, we'll see RKO just switch back to the BAP, right? That's the most logical explanation, but you really can't tell until you're in game. And it looks like they're going to switch out as well. They're going to switch Nappy in on the DPS. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what he plays as well going into Dorado, because Dorado, you can play a lot of different comps. The Brawl comp works really well, right? You get around that first turn, you drop down, you attack, you stop that push. Or I see Winston played a lot on Dorado. The frequency of being able to jump around and get those kills, be in those spots where you can get the electrical cannon off, the Tesla cannon off, and they don't really know where you're at, right? So I think going into this last map, it's going to be a determination to see what these new subs are going to do in this last game.
It's going to be a great one to behold. Honestly, I know I talked about this at the beginning, but both of these universities can show these to their presidents or, gaming organization behind their university to the upper management and say, this is what we're capable of. And I still think that's true. Despite UNA losing, this has been exceptionally close. And quite frankly, I'd love for them to show it to the university president because I'm in it on the university. So it's a win-win for me either way. Technically, it's a win-win for me either way, whichever side wins, because UAH is my hometown. I'm just having a good time. I'm hyping everything up in every single side. But
coming from the other side of
absolutely.
the cornfield in Iowa, Indiana territory, I gotta tell you, I do not have that much of a bias in this match as you do, Infernosis. I'm just looking at it objectively, and looking at it objectively, we have two very strong emergence teams going up against each other and swinging until overtime in both games. Even if we look back at Nepal on the second and third map, it was 100-99. It wasn't just a blowout, right? Both of these teams are incredibly close in skill, and I think one thing to take from today is, if they haven't already, they have found their future scrim partners.
Absolutely. I mean, this is just back and forth constantly. There's literally no factor within either of these sides that really show them above and beyond each other. It's just individuals going out and above and beyond themselves. UNA with their dominant rain off of Ironcrad coming through on those Genji blades, the Nano blade support from Bananarama constantly. That's what your DPS was carrying you, but it's kind of opposite for UAH. Your DPS has done a fairly good job. Sovereign with some good beams on the Echo. Emerald having some good picks as Tracer pulse bombs and some McCree kills earlier on, but it's really been Paka on the Rhine that's carried that side. So DPS for UNA, tank for the side of UAH, and it's weird to see that. I mean, when both sides can go back and forth like we've seen, and it's not just the same role determining that, it's going to be a big factor. But one thing we are not noticing right now from the UAH side is going to be a Reinhardt. Instead, Paka's going to pick up the Diva and play what Manta has been playing the entire time. So an interesting switch to go from there.
I do not like UAH's comp here. I gotta say, I'm a little skeptical. You have the Zen and you have the Ana with a dive front line and a dive tank line. If someone jumps on that Zen, what are you gonna do, right? Especially if they're pushed up so far. Plus, what are you gonna do about the Earth Shatter that's gonna be in your face and the Diva bombs that are gonna be in your face? You have no answer for that. So UNA, if they're going to take any map, this may be the map to take, because I feel like UAH is playing a little bit too far out there.
You know, we do see the slam attempted from Manta, not able to get up to the high ground, but they do manage to knock NATO down. Sovereign with a beam on a 1 to Bananarama. Paka finding NATO out, but it'll be Ironcrad finding the first and second now, taking Genji, and a third Ironcrad saving it again. The difference in DPS showing its ugly head here, and the fight will have to continue. The last three players to the right side waiting for the backup support, just trying to stay back, but like we've noticed, there's really no shields from their side. It's just going to be the attempt to eat all that damage up from the Diva Matrix.
Yeah, Ironcrad is a beast. We've seen it all set, and the first Diva Bomb is coming out. Is anyone going to get picked by it? No, everyone was able to find cover, and that is what I said earlier about UAH's position, or UNA's positioning, right? They needed to improve it. With that, they were able to do it. So, are they going to be able to hold this point? I don't know. Sovereign's getting a couple of picks. We're seeing NATO bust in with the Rhine, swinging around. 110 health left, and he is going to fall to Emerald.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did win out in that kind of brawl, which, I mean, obviously Divas aren't necessarily built for that in tow, but, you know, the Genji coming behind by Emerald is going to be another factor to look out for, not just in that fight, but now with the fact that you've gotten the Nano and Halix and Emerald's Blade ready. It's going to be back and forth. UNA showed their prowess on the Nano Blade now. UAH is going to try to do it just as well. Ironcrad taking Sovereign out of the fight. That sniper on sniper battle, winning it out. Emerald will fall to Ironcrad. Another kill for them. Ironcrad finding everything for the UNA side, but it's going to be Ice Manta. They're up top. The minefield is ready. They've been spotted out from behind, but they could drop and completely remove any option for UNA to step away. He'll take the fall. Minefield coming out to go. NATO in a tough position, taking a bit of damage off of that. The Immortality Field, however, will guarantee the life of one. Ironcrad at 10 HP, finally healed up, but Ironcrad not mattering. Nano Blade coming out. Emerald, big one on the Bananarama. It'll be the drop the beat to save the lives for a little bit, but it's not going to matter. Emerald finding Ironcrad in tow, and he's going to continue to find it before taking the step, taking the L, and falling to Nappy.
Oh, man. NATO, oh, NATO. He did not want to field that one. He missed the shatter. He dived into the back room and really was not able to do much for that fight. Nappy is going to be able to take out two, though, and we are seeing a completely dominant Ironcrad on this map. This man is just doing everything that he can to secure this victory for UNA.
They're trying to stay into this one. Nappy does have Death Blossom available. If they can get a semi-coordination with it in any capacity, it would be phenomenal. Ironcrad finding Emerald out. Looks like UAH is going to take a step back. Garage Door will go down. Give them a little bit of support for that damaged backline. The help will try to be there, but the question still remains for their side. Will it be enough? Attempted damage across the board. UNA getting aggressive out of the backside. An Eaton fire charge from Paco will guarantee a little bit more ult charge. Too bad it was already 100% charged, but it does remove any chance for NATO to get any more charge for himself.
Very true. Very, very true. And looking at this, man, Bananarama is doing just objectively a great job as a healer on the side of his team. We are seeing UNA fall a lot, but they are going to be able to hold a stronghold here, and those BAP lamps are just coming out super clutch as we do see a Diva Bomb come through. It is going to take out Tiger, the Reddit Lucio himself. Nappy's going to respond with two of his own, taking out the healers. NATO's going to push in, taking out Emerald, and UNA is looking to defend this corner.
The minefield in the back, however, from Manta takes out one of your healers, but NATO doesn't need it. He'll find Ice Manta in tow. It's going to be a tit-for-tat kind of battle, extremely close in every capacity, but Paca, who's DMAC'd, is going to try to step in. The Dynamite just short of finishing off before it goes. NATO taking the step forward, desperately needs heals. Finally, Bananarama is able to get there and help. But the shield is looking worse for wear now. Eden fire charge by Paca, guaranteeing a little bit of extra effect. NATO, however, does have the shatter. Bob goes out, connecting and hitting a wall on the backside as Nappy finds Sovereign to clear out the opposition's bomb. But it's going to continue to go back and forth. Something is not going right here for either side, as it's not going in one way or another. Slam now by Ice Manta. He'll continue the engagement, but it looks like UAH is going to keep it backward and tried. Emerald finally getting Blade. Nano's already on top, and he's going to try to go for it. Banana in a bad situation, but they're going to get it. NATO saves the life off of it, and it looks like UNA's found their stride. Shatter connects, and everything coming up UNA. Paca just trying to escape with his life, and it doesn't look like he'll manage it.
Wow, Emerald almost taking out the whole team with that Genji ult, but we saw Tiger drop the beat, and followed up by the beat was the Earth Shatter from NATO, saving the point for UNA with only, 3 meters left to spare. That was a very, very tight battle. We are going to see Bananarama has his ult up. So does RKO. So 2 supports up, or 1 support ult up on each team. However, Squib looking really close to that grab. It's going to mean everything if Ice Manta is able to eat this grab or not when they look to him push on this engagement.
A very difficult fight will be coming forward. We do have Garage Door available for the UNA side, but you do have that double sniper that UAH has been showing great prowess with, and the ability to connect with those with this high ground will be devastating. Nappy, though, won't let it matter. Emerald will fall from the church side. Nappy is going to get rushed down by Ice Manta, forced to fall back, not wanting to deal with it. The fight will continue. It looks like Squib's taking the aggressive stance. Good charge on the Zarya as well, but NATO's taking forward. He needs to build ult charge in this fight as Paca has switched back to Ryan himself and will try to continue the engagement. He already has his shatter mostly charged. NATO's trying to get them back for back as well. They matched it. NATO finding some fire charges to connect, and it's Emerald who falls to Ironcrad.
20 seconds left on the clock. This next fight is going to determine everything. As NATO looks to set up here, Squib may look for an ult, and we're seeing a massive grab come out. NATO's going to be big swinging, but they are going to respond in kind with RKO, and they're going to C9. They're not going to be able to make it in time. The grab held them off. RKO even responded in kind with the Transcendence, but it didn't matter in the end.
Absolutely unfortunate for UAH. They made a ton of switches. You notice they switched back to the Reinhardt. They switched over as well to the double sniper. They did everything they could, but the issue is the fact that UNA had an answer to it. It's unfortunate with the fact that Squib coming through with that Graviton, which kept them off of the point, and then a bomb in the face as well. The only thing stopping the bomb from just shotgunning, face planting into the opposition. That would require actual latent talents, which I do not have. So unfortunately not available for that. But nonetheless, no matter what the game is, you have to have your roster set in stone. And for a game like Rainbow Six Siege that I cast for here at NECC, your rosters are typically very small. For Overwatch, both of these teams here have one of the larger rosters I've seen across the board, and missing one of those players on your roster despite having such a list of that is going to be pretty interesting to see. Not sure why that person's not listed on there at all.
8 to 10 players for both rosters. They're pretty big rosters. And unfortunately, you can't be in VC either. This is collegiate esports, right? If we didn't if we didn't have roster submission, then at that point we are just compromising the competitive integrity of these matches, because anyone could come in, any Joe Schmo from off the street, or even amateur players, maybe former pro players, anyone with just a random account could hop in. We need to solidify and make sure that these players are in fact on our sheets, as well as actually on these collegiate rosters, to make sure that we're validifying, this moving forward.
Yeah, with the ability that COVID has caused complications, no lands really being able to be held as well, it's going to be that much harder. We have made leaps and strides in terms of actual ability to do tournaments like these, especially in the collegiate scene, because of, COVID and everything being switched to online. But you can only go so far. The players and the teams have to go through that effort as well, and you have to acknowledge the rules. In R6, there's skins. You can't use any skin in R6 that's not a base set, and it's players don't follow that rule. You get one rehost, and if you do it again, you forfeit. It's over. It's done. That map's gone for your side. And unfortunately, you have to follow the rules no matter what the game is, no matter what you do. It's just going to be what happens. It's kind of like if you abuse a glitch, maintain integrity. Don't be exploiting things that are based in the game. Don't be exploiting us at NECC either.
Exactly. You don't want any Johns after a game, right? You want to be able to look at a game and objectively say, wow, that was a great set. That was a great match. You don't want to say, oh, well, we've never heard of this person, or this person was blah, 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 or, they had this keyboard, this mouse. It doesn't matter, right? In that regard. That's why we have all this information up front. That's why we get this at the beginning of the season from all the teams, so that we can understand. And I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful that this is just a miscommunication error, right? Because I would hate for this to go to an auto forfeit from either team. And what, like I said earlier, and I will touch back to, is probably the closest set we've seen in Emergence Division.
Unfortunately, I think we're actually muted. Unfortunately. Chat is now caught up to the caster scene, and apparently we're muted, so...
I see.
We should be back. We're back, all right? It'll be 3 minutes, but we're back. So basically we said maintain integrity. A player problem with somebody not being on the roster for one of these two teams is going to put a thorn in the side of them, and a possible forfeit could be had, because each side has a massive, 8 to 10 different teams that already designated on their rosters. To bring in a player that's not on the roster...
8 to 10 different players.
8 to 10 different players. And to bring in a player that's not on there... It's not really what you're supposed to do. Maintain integrity. That is the base set rules.
This just in, that's a no bueno. We don't do that around here, right? You have to have the rosters that you said at the beginning of the year. It's like we said, it's the competitive integrity of the set. And we don't want to see, I would hate for this to be an auto forfeit. I would love for this just to be a simple miscommunication. Well, maybe, I just changed my name, or maybe this just happened. I can prove that I'm this person. But an auto forfeit in a series that has been this close, you have to hand it to the NECC. They have to do it, right? We have to go with whatever is solidified in the rules. But looking at it from an objective standpoint, that would be so sad to see, because this has been the closest game that we've seen in Emergence, and one of the most electrifying sets that's happened in this division.
This just in, Chief. This ain't it. And also, apparently, it has been worked out. One of the players for one of the sides of the team was just on their alternate account, so the name was not the same one. So they've now switched it over to a name that's on the roster and set in stone, and it's going to be worked out. So they are no forfeit in place. There's still a couple questions about players in VCs. We'll figure that one out as it goes forward. And I'm pausing a pause to make sure that player gets into their roster and situated. But... nonetheless, the match is already set in stone. It's already a 2-0 victory for UAH. If a forfeit comes through for either side, it could change it, however. Now, in our heads, we still know it's a 2-0 victory for UAH, but you know,
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard looking at it like this, and it's even harder looking at it when it's happening live, right? In the sense that we don't want to come up with just a quick split-second decision. We want to go with what's most fair and understanding from both teams. And so, looking at now the issue of having someone in VC, maybe that's also just a simple misunderstanding. But this just in, it looks like we are going to be able to get back into the Overwatch action. We are still paused. However, the stream is starting back up on our end, so we're able to see something in that regard.
it's very good to see. I think we have finally figured everything out, kind of coordinated through, and kind of have ourselves in a little bit better of a situation. I think we're about ready to get underway. I think we have that person in and on their actual account here for this, and you know, we'll see how this one pans out. UNA, they stop UAH on this push, the streets phase of this initial section. They stop them on the second holds, and a very good position as well. They just have to get past that. Can UNA make this a 2-1 stat line across? They've shown us everything spectacular so far. Can they maintain that and show us something even more?
Casters,
I certainly hope so.
Casters, this is on stream. Public can hear this. We had a player that was on a secondary account, which our staff thought was actually someone else or potentially a ringer of some fashion. We made sure that they did change over to their main account and that they are on the roster list and all that good stuff. So that's why we did the pause in between halves, making sure that everything was good and dandy. We will be getting back into this game. Same scores, everything, except Nappy will now be red guard.
Okay, well, the UNA side had a player named Nappy, which is actually red guard on an alternate account. So that's what was happening. We will officially get started. Thank you very much, producer man himself. Caleb, thank you very much. And we will officially get underway. Everything is going to work out now.
Looking at red guard, right? We see that he is a substitute DPS. He does play a lot of Hanzo. So, going into the second half, it may make a difference. It may not. This, like you said earlier, and now that we have solidified things, we can still definitively say UAH is up 2-0. So they have at this point won the set, right? So we're just playing out the third game of Dorado because we play all the maps here at the NECC for tiebreakers, for anything looking at the end of the season for stats. It's just better competitively to play out all of these matches ahead of time.
Yeah, for things like R6, we just play the 2 games. If you win 2 games, that's it. It's over. It's one of the things I really like about casting Overwatch is we get to enjoy the entire thing because maybe they just stuck on those 2 maps. Maybe they just aren't their maps, and they're still going to show us they have the ability to win against a team like this. I've seen games where a team's lost the first 2 maps but thrashed and completely one-sidedly stomped on the 3rd map, and you look at that and go, huh?
What? Why? Where were you? Hello?
Where was all of this before?
Like, it is crazy to watch those sets too because it plays around the maps. Every game is different in the sense that you are now being put in an entirely new environment, right? And depending on how often you practice in that environment or how often you scrim in that environment can mean everything for game day.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think both of these sides, if they aren't already scrimming together, they absolutely should be. It's just, it's just so evenly matched across the board. It can go back and forth consistently. It'd be such a good, even just a scrim to behold. I'd love to just watch in on that constantly, but Scrib would be forced out of the map pretty early on. The opposite side of UAH has brought in a May as one of their DPS now, but Ironcrad and Bananarama, the Genji and Nano combination could come through to great fruition, but it's not going to matter for Squib, who falls first to Emerald.
Yeah, looking at this too, they're having a hard time pushing past this point. They are being able to set up on the end. Paka holding a front line for his team and allowing Emerald to really pop off on Tiger and Ironcrad. It looks like UAH is holding this definitively.
A high noon will come out from the high ground of Emeralds. They're not able to find anything, but they will drop the shield, which does secure the kill into NATO, Redguard, and now the May kill again for Sovereign second onto Bananarama. There was a sleeve that managed to hit Emerald, but it's not going to actually matter. It will go the other way, and UNA is going to have to regroup here. It's Squib up on the Diva, taking the high ground, trying to catch some players off guard, but the Orisa for that extra layer of shield will be a huge problem for the opposing side. A stun from Emerald on Ironcrad will secure the kill. The dive from the Diva and Squib will try to secure as well, but they're taking a lot of damage, and Emerald does not look any worse for wear, winning that fight handily.
And it looks like NATO is now going to have his ultimate. He's going to look for something here as the team groups up, looks to push underneath bridge. But Paka having his Earth Shatter as well. Both teams looking very strong on this push. However, UAH is just able to hold it. UNA is not able to get past this push here. Oh, we are going to see the Bat Vault come out. Massive Ana nade hitting multiple, if not the whole team on UNA. And they are forced to back out. NATO is going to get the pick on the Orisa, but it isn't going to matter as the team is pushing up and in.
Yep, UNA needed to do a full regroup. They still have about 1 minute and 50 seconds. Tiger's the only one to survive, running away with his tail between his legs to the backside. Smart decision to step away, not bring the ult charge to the opposition, and that's exactly what you need to do. Baptiste does a very good job of escaping as well with a little bit of mobility that he does have into his pocket, but Squib's going to take the frontline aggression. We do have a player up above as well. We could see Emerald going for that high noon from behind again, but we also have the Genji Nano Blade available and a Shatter to follow through as well. A lot of ults. Nanoblade comes through over the top line. He's going to start swinging, but the Immortality Field may be able to deny. He'll swing and take it out. They'll Shatter for it, but it doesn't connect. Up they goes UNA as Squib and Ironcrad find him. Red Guard and Bananarama, not to be outdone, will help clean up as well. UNA seems like they'll push it the rest of the way forward, and it's a fight won by UNA finally.
Wow, Bananarama and Squib were able to really create a space there, and UNA was able to fill it. Ironcrad, I don't know, man. We talked about Paka maybe being the MVP at the beginning of the set. It may be Ironcrad. Even though UNA has fallen every game, Ironcrad has found the kills for his team and created these opportunities for the team as a whole. UNA was not able to get through that push without the Genji ultimate coming out, taking out the Bat Field, and then pushing in. We are going to see an Orisa Field come out. Emerald's going to be able to take out 2 on the side, finding Ironcrad as well, but that's not going to stop UNA's push just yet.
Looks like UAH will kind of force UNA back. They did get the majority of those kills and have demeched Squib, who will attempt to get back into it. Fire charge won't connect from the opposition of Pocket to build a little bit of charge. Squib right back into the mech to get this one started again. That damage boost is the same thing you see for the Baptiste ult for that window. The Orisa does basically the same thing, just supports your squad in a way that, not necessarily available otherwise. Player will be dropped from down below. It's going to be the Baptiste of Hallex forced off the high ground, but Emerald is up there with the high noon there. May freeze going through. It's going to freeze a lot of them, and Neo and Red Guard will fall. Emerald still holding up top in the high ground. UNA desperately needs to regroup. Ironcrad finding a dash kill, stepping up to be contesting in the front line, and it's going to be a hard battle now. They're still keeping the aggression despite losing the initial few players. Another blade comes through. It's going to be Ironcrad. He gets stunned, however, and saved. Ice Manta will find the kill, and that's the way to shut down UNA. It's the only way to shut down UNA. Take Ironcrad out for the fights.
No, not today, Genji. Paka turned around, shattered him. The first glance he saw him, he said, "It is not happening. You're not getting a push this time. Stop it, Ironcrad." As we are going to see Ironcrad switch off of the Genji, and he is going to play more of the hit scan. So, looking at this push, it could make all of the difference. Squib, a little bit of an awkward diva ult there. Not sure if that's exactly what he was looking for, but we are seeing UNA push up a little bit as they are going to fight on cart.
Paka's going to get nano boost. I want to point out as well, Red Guard solo death blossomed. RKO on the opposite side. He RKO'd him out of nowhere from the high ground. But UAH will completely sweep this engagement. Wasted ults on the side of UNA. The nano, the shatter that didn't connect. And of course as well, the Diva mech ult that didn't connect. It's going to be bad here. UNA desperately needs to regroup. 50 seconds for them to do so, and their ults are going to need a lot of support. Really no DPS ult to back up for that nano, and you're gonna have to rely on probably NATO himself to be that swinging front line with that nano boost.
Yeah, that or, Tiger's gonna have to prematurely use Land here to get them up on point and build this ultimate charge. NATO, seeing that Pack is looking for the shatter, a little scared, holding up the shield. The shield will fall at some point though, as they push in. UNA looking to take this cart. As we saw, the lamp's gonna come out. Oh, and so is Sovereign. Sovereign's coming out with the freeze, and it's gonna hit one, it's gonna hit two. Alex is pushing up on NATO, gonna find the kill, and they are gonna be able to DMX Squib. This could be the end for UNA.
UNA did a good job of eating the Emerald High Noon and, of course, pulling the wall up in time to stop the Shatter of Paka, but they're not able to go so far into this, cannot make it back. It will be stopped, and UAH will win it in a 3-0 victory all around for every map. Insanely close games all around, and that's a great representation of it right there. Despite them neither of them making it to the second ending point, they were just one short little street away from matching each other and either side winning. That's how close these sides were in every single map, and it just goes to show you how close these Northern Alabama teams, these north side of Alabama teams, I guess I should say, since one of them is named Northern Alabama, but these northernmost Alabama teams, they are consistently neck and neck, and these programs are something to keep an eye out for.
100%. Even as we push into the Emergence Division, neither of these programs are count out. This just in. Do you know why they call Paka Paka?
Why is that?
Because he's the backpacker, putting everyone on his shoulders, charging through. What a crazy game. I don't know who I got to throw the MVP to. It's either going to be Ironclad or Paka, but definitively one of those players from both teams both saw amazing solo plays and team plays that really put themselves over the edge for the team and really gave their team the edge in those fights.
I really don't know who to vote for. I mean, Paka was the carry in every game, in every capacity. That tank differential was massive. Phenomenal player. It's just something to behold, to watch into it, but not to be outdone was the DPS of the UNA side. But the issue with that one is Paka was consistently able to have that prowess, and Ironclad was able to get that as well with the pressure that was coming through on both McCree and the Genji, but most of his actual phenomenal plays were with that nano boost combination. So the question is, Ironclad or your support healer with the nano boost with the Ana, which one do you choose? Because both of them couldn't have done it without the other.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know, but RK, it was a great set to watch. It was amazing to watch both of these Alabama teams. The battle for Bama V2. Can't wait to see these guys in LAN. And, you know, I just have one more thing to say, and that is GG's. And good luck, have fun for the rest of the season, folks. We are going to move on to the next set here soon. We did have some technical difficulties, so we are going to be foregoing any player interviews so that we can get the next set moving along and get this train rolling. I have been Nuclear, and I've been joined by Infernosis. I will be stepping out on the next cast. However, the action will continue, but we are going to go to a short break.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
Okay. What do you?
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Infernosis, long time no see, and I am welcomed and joined here by my good friend here, Unicorn, the much more handsome and not as good a caster, but much more handsome host here. Unicorn, how you doing today, man?
I was doing a lot better, Infernos. I'll tell you what, doing a lot better before that. But you know what's gonna cheer me up? Carroll University taking on Champlain College. I'm stoked for it. We're back in the Emergence Division. I'm excited here. Are you?
I am too. Yeah, just coming through a great game between the Northern Alabama sides, the NECC battle for Bama. You know, big excitement going on there, and I want to continue that excitement coming into this one. I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Well, as am I.